Evening, everybody. Welcome to Nightlight. Step away from the mainstream and gather around as we enlighten the world and our realities and travel this cosmic journey we all call life. Join us as we share with you and provide that beacon that can ever guide us all to a better way. Explore with us as we examine a metaphysical montage of spiritual insights covering everything from the mundane to the magical, UFOs to unicorns, and hopefully everything in between. This is Nightlight, a reminder that you're never alone. We're going to be doing readings tonight, so dial in. It can get very crowded towards the end, and trust me, with Michele Avanti on, it does get crowded. The call-in number is 310-421-4053 or 918-707-8787. Michele is amazing. She's a published certified planetary systems analyst, consulting metaphysician, and ordained minister. And since 72, she's taught and consulted in many areas of metaphysics. She is absolutely qualified to tell you almost anything and will. She is accurate and full of laughter, and not only laughter, but good vibes all around. So it's an exciting thing to have her on the show, and we welcome her back. Hi, Michele. How's it going?
Great. Great to hear your voice, Barbara.
Well, I always love having you on here because I always learn so much from you.
And wow, I just love teaching and whatever I know, and you're welcome to whatever's in this head of mine.
Well, actually, there's more there than you actually know, because you always do impart insight that I hadn't considered before. And, it expands my ability to touch in with other people as well. So, it's all good.
Yeah, we have that. That's why we have each other. It's such a great thing. Different perspectives.
Yeah, and it's amazing because when, somebody gives you their birth date and their time and the place and everything, and you do your little magic and you get their chart up, I'm throwing cards at the same time. And I find that so often what we would garner from our modality is the same.
Yeah. Years ago, a lot of time, even now, I'll get people who'll ask me, what's the difference between astrology and metaphysics? And they will always come across the same line. However, there are two things that are different about them. In metaphysics, you're able to ask a question about someone you really don't know. In astrology, you really can't quite do that. You can say, is there somebody coming into my life? And astrology can answer that question. But to ask the question, is the person coming into my life going to be this, this, and that? Astrology can't necessarily answer that question till that person arrives.
Mm-hmm.
So they're different that way. And astrology, of course, can give you timing right down to the minute if you have accurate birth information. But metaphysics sometimes doesn't. The spiritual beings have a different view of time.
Yeah, they have a great sense of humor, that's for sure.
They certainly do. They know exactly how to pull you along to get you where you want to go.
Well, yeah. And no, it's not. I would say that it's where you need to go, not where you want to go.
Well, I that's true. It's not the want of the physical. When I say want, I'm talking about the want of the soul.
Oh, yeah. Well,
the soul part of us has a directive. Yeah. So.
I have had so many people that decide they want to arm wrestle with the universe, and I say, just go for it. You're going to lose, but go for it, because you're not going to listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And it's quite amazing. And oftentimes when you're reading somebody's chart, you talk about the different houses. Well, the spread of cards that I have has the houses. And I'm always fascinated with when you're applying to, such and such is something in this house, and there's a square or a trine or one of those really complicated words. I can always go to that house and I'm thinking, you had to study for so long, and I just have to look at cards. And but you have a different, your perspective it takes us to the same place, which is what fascinates me.
Yeah, it definitely does. Years ago, I had a couple of students come in and they were really sheepish when they walked in the door and they said, "Can we take you to dinner?" And I said, "Sure." I'm always open to receive.
Mm-hmm.
I said, "So what's going on?" And they said, "Well, we just wanted to let you know we went and saw another astrologer and we were afraid it might offend you." And I said, "Oh, absolutely not." I said, "It's good to get different perspectives." I said, "So what'd you find out?" And they looked at me and they said, "He basically told us the same thing you told us."
Now, I love that. Um,
So it's good. It's all good. They paid him a lot more though.
yeah, that's usually the case. I think what really I love so much about this field is that if the person that you're getting a reading from is a clear channel, then you will get the same information from other people who are clear channels.
Mhm.
But but if you're going to somebody, a gypsy on the corner or something like that, people who are channels, if they're not really a clear channel, and by that I mean if they can't put their ego aside,
Mhm.
then you're getting their impression of what they think you need to know, as opposed to what spirit is trying to share with you.
Yeah. That's the great challenge of developing your psychic abilities, learning the discernment between what your mind is trying to say versus what your higher self is actually saying. And we eventually come to that, but it's a matter of dismissing the ego who thinks it always comes through the mind and thinks they're right. We know it's right. We
Mhm.
don't. Yeah, I think the hardest thing when you're doing metaphysical work is to be able to be courageous enough and trust enough that you can say whatever you actually see, even if it looks totally off the charts. And I said some things to people. I just sit there and go, seriously? I don't even know what this word means, but this is what I'm getting. And they'll go,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, my grandfather always used to use that word. I'm going, all right, we're in the right place.
Well, I think that's another really important part, to learn to trust
Yeah.
that whatever comes out of your mouth is the appropriate thing, no matter how strange it seems. and
Yeah.
and I mean, I used to a long time ago just let it flow. I have decided to this point in time to be a little bit of a, um, you know, to pay a little more attention to it, and to censor just slightly. And it all comes from one experience. I was doing a spirit circle and I was talking to ladies who were all related, and I was talking about two of them who were in spirit, and they were talking about each other, the two ladies in spirit. And I said, they had a nickname for each other, and I don't know what language it's in, and I repeated it, and they fell off their chairs. She said, "Yep, that's her." And I said, "What's such a sweet sounding nickname? What does it mean?" And they looked at each other and they said, "Whore of the devil."
Oh,
So
my Lord.
so I don't repeat foreign words anymore. I just figure, if they can't give me an English translation, it ain't getting through.
Oh, Lord. Life is very interesting.
Yes, yes.
I think the walk of being a psychic or metaphysician, we see so much and we experience so much through everyone else's experiences. It's fascinating. You travel all over the universe through other people's experiences,
Oh,
and
you
it,
do.
it it really makes you more and more compassionate because you really come to understand how people choose experiences as soul. Why do they choose them, and have a lot of respect for how courageous individuals can be. It's fascinating to me.
Oh, absolutely. And the other thing too is that people think that people who can do this work have an easier life, and that's just not so. Um, it's
I
it's
think what makes your life easier is your attitude. It's not the life, actually.
well, that now that's true, but I just somebody said, oh, to me once, oh, you're one of those psychic spiritual people. You must have an easy ride. And I looked at him and I said, it's my belief that I can't recognize or talk about a difficulty unless I've been through it. And and I can talk about just about anything. There are a few topics that I can't speak with any authority on, but for the most part, I have either experienced it or been so close to it, it was almost experiencing it. So
Yeah.
that said, we've got a couple people here patiently waiting, and I think
Okay.
we should grab them before some sort of chaos starts here, as does happen on this show. So we've got Terry here. Hi, Terry. Are you there? Terry
Yeah,
Blackfoot? Uh, yes. Okay, Michelle, what do
Can
you
you
need
give
from
us your
Terry?
date of birth, Terry?
7/25/64.
So that's July 25th, 1964.
Yes,
Do you do you know when you were born, the time of birth?
7:05 a.m.
7:05 a.m. And where were you born? What city?
Bedford,
Bedford,
Pennsylvania.
PA. Okay. Let's see what we see. And are you living there now? Are you in Pennsylvania now?
Yes.
I hope you're doing okay. You your energy doesn't say that that's so much the case, but I hope I'm wrong about that. Let's take a look. And I don't know if you've ever done this before. You know much about astrology. If you've studied it, there's a way that I can kind of give you more information. But just taking a quick look, you have the first thing that's noticeable. You have, of course, a sun in Leo, and Leo is a great sign. I mean, it's the sign of having fun, and it's the sign of leadership. It's the sign of getting out there and socializing and playing, and it has a very joyful, childlike energy to it. But your sun is in the 12th house. It's at 2 degrees, and it's pretty close to being a high leg. So even if you're off maybe by a minute in your birth time, it could be active in the first house as well as the 12th. But when we see the sun in the 12th, we have the 12th is the house of karma, is the house of past life experiences. And there's a statement there that says your dad and you were connected in a past life. There's also the statement that you may have felt somewhat all that joyful energy of Leo doesn't always come out when we put the sun in this house. It squashes it down a little. It kind of can bring out some issues where you you kind of get hurt or you sabotage yourself by being too childlike or trying to take a leadership role too soon or in some past life you may have been not as responsible as you would have chosen if you'd been more aware or more conscious at the time. So it can make you put you in positions where you sabotage yourself. But it's also a high leg. Then it's also active in the first house, which can make you still get out there and do it. So I hope that's more of who you've more of your life's experience. Your moon is in Aquarius, so it's in an opposition to the sun. Your mom and dad may have been at times very much together and at other times absolutely at opposite ends of the stick. So you may have had some struggles there between them. But when we have the moon in Aquarius, we have a love of friendship. We have a love of conversation. We're usually great conversationalists, and we also have a desire for friendship. And that moon hovers right there at the seventh house cusp. So you may find that through your life you've had experiences where a real need for friends or a relationship, an intimate relationship. So a husband or a mate would be someone who you'd want also to be a friend, not just a mate. And with that struggle with the sun, there it could have been in your life where you sometimes struggle where you want to let them lead, but you can't quite do it, and you might have paid some emotional cost for that. Let's see what's going on, though. And also, let me know, do you have a key question that you want to ask me? Because I will key into it if that's the case.
Okay.
Okay. Right now you have Saturn going through your fifth house, and it's on your south node. The south node is an interesting, these are points in space. They call them the dragon tails or the dragon nodes. And the south node tells us what you carried from a past life into this one. To take it into the fifth house, have it in Sagittarius, it tells us you have invested in exploration, knowledge. You are someone who comes into this lifetime with a lot of information, a lot of knowledge. Perhaps you have been a teacher in the past life, and you have this wonderful ability to know things, or to be very worldly. There's an understanding of the world that may not have come as a result of your lifetime, but as a result of past lifetimes. Saturn, on top of this, at this point in time, says that this is a time where you really are taking another look. Saturn says we have to work hard on something. It tells us we have to structure something. So it's asking you, what have you done to take this information and invest it in yourself to be able to achieve something that you have wanted? The dream of your future was to, the dream of this lifetime was to be in a very comfortable environment. You had a need to, you have a tremendous love of both men and women, but of children, of family. There's a statement of family. And you have your Venus and Mars together. So you're, you're a hot number. That's a magnetic statement. Whenever we put Venus and Mars together in a natal chart, you're a person who tends to draw people to you. You tend to be magnetic, and so putting it in your house of wishes and dreams, and in Gemini, there's a statement there that I want the people of the world to be able to talk, to communicate. I want to have a world where we nurture each other. It's a beautiful statement. So how have you achieved that at this point? That's what Saturn is asking you. You want to share any of that with us?
I don't know how I've achieved it yet.
Well,
let me jump a second here, because you're talking fifth house, and in my fifth house, not my chart, in what I put down here.
Yeah, I'm 5th and 11th, so I'm talking both of them.
But the fifth house, especially for me, has the development of ancient wisdom, of the intuition expanding. And that would also refer to the April time frame. And next to it is the house of karma. So that you may well be going through some situations and circumstances that you can't figure out, how did this hit me, or why did this hit me, or what the heck is going on, because the world is crazy. And rest assured, the world is crazy. So so the energy around you at this moment in time feels to me as though it's you can't get your feet, you can't feel the stability that you want to feel within your life. But by the time you come by the time you come to June, it feels as though you are birthing a new aspect of yourself. And it really, and anybody who's been through the birthing process understands that on some levels it's not comfortable. And I really feel that you're in that process, you're in labor here, so to speak, so that there's a new part of you, a new element of you, a new facet of you and your personality that are going to be manifesting by the June timeframe, which will give you at least for a time a feeling of great stability, so that you can grab your directions and flow forward that way. Sorry, Michelle, go ahead.
No, that's very good. I mean, your exact words were exactly what Saturn in that house. You couldn't have said it better. I'm
going to put astrologer on my card too.
I think you should. Yeah, no, Saturn going through this house. The hard part about Saturn going through this house is it wants structure and it wants discipline. And this is the fifth house is the house of socializing and having fun. So you find yourself not doing those fun things and you're wondering perhaps why you're not. But you're coming through that. You will come through that. And yes, by June, you would certainly, Saturn will be off of this. And Jupiter is certainly working to help you. Jupiter right now is in your house of communication, and it is in retrograde, so it's going to turn around and go forward come around June. So you're going to find that the doorways start to open again as far as thoughts and opportunities to achieve what you really want to achieve. It's kind of a beautiful statement, Jupiter here. It's an expansion of your mind and expansion of relationships. And when it does go forward, it's going to activate both that Venus and Mars. And remember, I said that's very magnetic. If you have an interest in any kind of relationship situation, there's a doorway there where relationships open up for you.
Okay.
That'll be this summer.
Yeah, get your eyes checked too. Your glasses need to be fixed. If you don't have glasses, get your eyes checked.
Okay.
You have glasses though, don't you?
No, I did, but I had LASIK eye surgery.
Ah.
I see an issue with your eyes, and it, you know what happens? It's really a conspiracy against us because newspapers, books, and everything are now printing in smaller print so that we will think that we need glasses when we really don't need them. But I see you doing a lot of reading. You may want to pick up some drugstore glasses just to make print bigger for you then.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for calling in.
Good luck, Terry.
Thank you.
I love her name, Terry Barefoot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, great name. Okay, we got another caller here too. We've got 0760. You there? You're on the air.
I am. I'm here. Thank you.
Yay! Can we have your name, please?
My name is Stephanie.
Hey, Stephanie.
Go
Hi there.
Michelle.
And what's your date of birth, Stephanie?
It's 4/13/68.
So it's coming up, huh? April 13th?
Yes. Uh-huh.
1968. So early birthday to you. Happy birthday. And the time of birth?
7:08 a.m. And I was born in Cleveland, Ohio, and I'm in a suburb of Cleveland now.
Okay. I always find it interesting when people manage to stay or go back to where they were born. You know, sometimes we go away and then we come back. So let's see what your chart says. Oh, wow. You have, when we look at charts, sometimes they just have a very obvious design, and yours is a real balancing act. You have a whole bunch of things on one side and a whole bunch of things on the other side, and they're kind of like balancing each other out. So that can be somewhat challenging. You can feel like, am I coming or going some of the time? And you were born 23 degrees Aries, right on the ascendant. So it's not even a high leg. It's like so close. So even though that's considered 12th house, it's really not. So I'm not concerned about that for you. Let's see, but your sun and your moon are just, your moon is in Libra, desire for relationships, desire for balance, desire for beauty. And anyone with that kind of moon, I always tell them, you can't live in a ragged place. You have to live in a beautiful place. Whatever it is, you will make it beautiful. But anyway, your mom and dad, that was a struggle. They were not getting along the best, although they probably had moments where they focused together, but that was a bit of a struggle. There's a lot of, I want to say kind of an aggressive, dominating energy with your dad versus your mom, who she was probably very beautiful or may still be very beautiful. And and you're beautiful. You're very photogenic. You have that Taurus on the ascendant that's always photogenic. And and makes you earthy, a very earthy individual. So let's just take a look at what everybody's doing. You do have Saturn, Mercury, and Venus all in that 12th house. So when we talk about, how do we get ourselves in trouble? How do we do things that subconsciously is coming out of our subconscious? How do we react to situations rather than respond to situations? You may find that you try to put the brakes on, but you find yourself running forward anyway. And it's your mouth seems to be running forward because there's something that gets you excited or intrigues you. And as a result, you find you're kind of like trying to put brakes on, but your mouth is going forward. Or your mind is going forward. In either case, that is what probably gets you in trouble the most. And, astrologically, I could teach you how to identify those days so you wouldn't ever have that problem again. But let's see here. So looking at what's going on in the sky, what are the transits, what's activating you? Jupiter right now is, it's in retrograde, but it came really, really close to it went over your south node. It's pointing at your south node. So here we have, again, a statement of the nodes is active. And this is interesting. Here, your node is in Libra, and this is where we were. Isn't this where we were just a few minutes ago?
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, Jupiter in Libra on your node. No, in the other one it was Sag, but here is Libra. So there is a whole experience opening up for you. Past lives give us a lot of information. We carry into this lifetime so much that we can integrate. We have talents, and for you could be a very talented person. There's a whole consideration of what is beautiful is connected to your talents. You're a person who can create things, and you may do it more with words than you do it with your hands, but you're a person who knows how to mediate. You can be a very diplomatic individual, and you can help other people bring things into balance, and you may have even done that sort of thing in your work, whether you were aware that that's what you were focusing on or not. But Jupiter there brings you a new awareness and expanded knowledge of it. And of course, that takes us to where your North Node is, and it's in Aries, aligned with your Sun. So there is a desire to get out and break free, to find new doorways, new paths, new environments. You have there's a push. Soul pushes here for you to come to a wider view of your environment or your world. Exploration is a big part of it. And when Jupiter goes direct, you may find yourself taking a trip even. You may decide and this would be like September maybe of this year, you might decide to take a trip and go to a place that maybe a home from a past life, or a home that's connected to your biological roots, or your mom's home. I don't know if your mom was an immigrant or she comes from an ancestry. Most of us come from somewhere else. And so there is this statement of the beauty of your mom or the heritage. So you may find yourself taking a trip at that point. Let's see what else is going on. Unfortunately, Saturn is quiet in your chart. She's not making any real big trouble for you.
What's in the 9th house for her?
I was just getting there. It's fascinating how you do that. Pluto is traveling through the 9th house, and it's at 18 degrees of Capricorn right now. So it is making a T-square to that natal North Node and South Node. So it's actually activating them. And that's a statement that says it's time for me to transform. I am challenged to transform from the past to where I really want to go, to take that action that I want to take, to make that breakthrough. What do you have in the 9th?
I have the threshold card, which is the crossing the threshold to new levels of compassion and comprehension. It is crossing the threshold into an understanding of the fact that we are not only worldly but cosmic, and therefore there are new levels of intellect, philosophy paradigms, if you will, that are be opening up, so that instead of feeling like, is this all there is, you're going to be feeling like, holy crap, do I have time to get into all of this? And it feels like you're beginning to have that feeling at this moment in time, that there's more out there and you don't know where to look or where to reach to, but it will flow to you. And I feel strongly that probably whatever is in your 12th house is going to open the way for you, so that as you get into the fall and the December timeframe, that's when all of this opens up for you, and you find that why you thought you had really touched into all different aspects, that there are so many more now for you, that it makes life very exciting and challenging, only in that you just don't know where to start. And I would say start everywhere. That's what I have.
Yeah. Yeah, that's and that challenge is coming. A lot of it's coming from past lives and from your father. This connects also to your father, and past lives you've had where you may have been a warrior in a past life, or more than one past life, but you were not the one doing the warring itself. You were a warrior that made breakthroughs, but you were more the scribe for the people who were doing the warring. You were the one who kept the books and beautified the place. So maybe you built the statues or something, because you did leave something behind that was solid. And I don't think that was just on papyrus or paper. It looks like it was probably actually things that were built.
Yeah, as far as past lives go, what I'm seeing is that almost in every past life that comes up here at this moment in time, anyhow, there is a sense of you are being challenged by the structure of the time, and you always feel uncomfortable if you're too structured, to the point where you'll make trouble for yourself because you just can't stand being one of the masses, a member of the masses. It's not so much that you want to strike out and be a leader or somebody in the spotlight, though that would be nice too, but that you are unique, you are different. There was a time it appears, and especially in this life, that you felt that you didn't fit in, but the reality is you fit in beautifully. You're just very unique. And what I'm seeing here is, more with words than anything else, you have always defied the structure and the status quo. So the element of writing, it feels as though it is a gift and a talent you bring forward into time, and you may well have been someone who wrote about conspiracies or take a look at this, and you always did it under a pseudonym, because it would have meant your death if they knew who you were. So it feels as though this lifetime, though, there is publication here for you at some point in time. If you haven't started writing, now would be a good time. That's what I get.
Well,
this is amazing. So comprehensive. Thank you. Thank you so much.
oh, you're so welcome. And for anyone listening who fears Pluto, because I did mention Pluto, you are also, as you're going through this period in time with that square, you're also have a beautiful trine to your natal Pluto and to natal Uranus. So doorways will open suddenly that will literally transform the way that you see the past and the way that you see structure.
So Pluto in this chart is a good puppy.
Every now and then.
I love it. Thank you.
Well,
You're so
calling.
welcome. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for calling. I'm finding this fascinating. I've never read my cards, just by the houses and stuff. But this brings a whole new dimension here to it. This is really kind of cool.
It is. It's kind of neat how we can work together with it. I like that. I like seeing what you're seeing. It's fascinating to me. I think it's also hysterical that you said, and what about the ninth house? I was just about to talk about the ninth house. All right, Barbara, give me a second. I'm getting there.
Well, it's funny because I did try to learn astrology a long time ago and found that and I think I've told you this story. I signed up to take a class with a very good astrologer, and every time I would go to class, I would fall asleep within the first 5 minutes. And it wasn't that I was tired, it's just that it was kind of like, and then I got a message at some point that this is not your thing. What are you trying to do? And I realized that obviously it would, I mean, they would take bets on how long it would be before I would be snoozing. So,
Oh, Lord, that's hysterical.
but
Yeah.
learning the houses of the astrological chart is helpful. And
Well,
you know,
I use that too when I do a consultation with someone. I call it doing the wheel.
mhm.
The wheel of 84 is based on 12. And for those of who are listening who don't know what the wheel of 84 is, in Eastern philosophy, it is said that soul will come around every one of the signs 84 times
Oh,
before it has reached mastery. So the wheel of the 84 is what they talk about. But when I do a consultation metaphysically, I use the 12 houses because when you lay out the 12 houses as doorways for spirit to focus,
mhm.
you are giving them every option there is in the states of consciousness of humanity.
That would, my cards are round. I don't know if you've seen them, but
What deck do you use? No, I haven't seen. Oh, this is a deck you created.
yeah, it's the cosmic deck of initiation, and they're circular. They're circular.
How
So
cool.
I lay them out in a circle, like the
Mm-hmm.
face of the clock, and
Right.
that gives me not only the 12 houses, but it gives me the 12 months as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's and learning the houses, and I will be I'll go right out there and tell everybody that if you learn the houses, you learn an awful lot. And that is not hard to learn. So that if you have a deck of cards, you can always use a circular spread of some sort, and you can check
Mm-hmm.
out the different houses and what card falls in that house, and to have an idea of what the different houses mean gives you some indication as to what is going to befall your life at this particular point in time.
Yeah.
So it is cool. I mean, to learn about the squares, the trines, and the quinquences or whatever, um,
Quincunx.
quinquences. Um, it is a lifetime study. So that anybody that can talk like Michelle can on this topic, they've studied for a lot of years to get to where they are, so that things flow for them and they have some idea as to what falls where and how. Um, and I am a neophyte when it comes to the astrology, but when it comes to houses and the deck of cards I use, I do have some idea. If somebody asks about home, I know I go to the fourth house. If they ask for relationship, I go to the seventh. If they ask for passionate relationship, I go to the eighth. I know sort
Mm-hmm.
of where to look. And it's really funny because the last lady asked about past lives, or you brought up past lives. I
Mm-hmm.
do past lives too.
Mm-hmm.
And those are fun because you get to a point where you not only get the past life, but you get some ideas to the gifts and talents that come from that particular past life. And we've all had millions of past lives. And,
Mm-hmm.
it's always at any one particular point in time, there are certain past lives that have relevance
Right.
or effect upon what we're going through now, so
Exactly.
that so that you can pull up that past life when you were a hooker someplace, or a murderer, or a soldier, or an orator, or whatever. And sometimes it even goes back further in time, so that you get yourself in different dimensions as well. So it is an amazing amount of information to draw from if you've never drawn from it before. Um, and the wonderful thing about all of this work is that there is a sense of humor connected to it. That that it isn't all, very, very tight spiritual things where you marched into the fires as a Christian or whatever. I mean, there are certainly lifetimes like that, but quite possibly they don't bear relevance to what you're going through at this particular point in time.
Yeah.
But there are past lives that are hysterical, and you sit back and you think, how can I tell this woman that she was, she owned a brothel someplace and that she took care of the whores that were drawn to her, but that's what she did. And the reality is that those same people that were drawn to her in that lifetime are now becoming a part of her lifetime this time.
Mm-hmm.
And she may not understand why she feels so protective of these people, and it's because that she's done that in the past.
Yeah.
So
I do past lives too, and when I work with people, when I do a past life session, the spiritual beings will choose. I have them choose 3 to 4 past lives for us to look at. They will always connect to something that the individual is needing to learn in this life, and it will show the pattern. By going across those 3 or 4 lifetimes, you see the pattern of where they are, and that helps them understand how they're moving forward and how they're breaking the boundaries that may have held them back in the past, and why their mother is a certain way, or why they're always choosing certain kinds of men, or it goes on and on. We have so many levels of what we do in each lifetime, and it's fascinating.
I just love the past lives because you see the humanity in people, and you see part of a story that they brought through to this lifetime, and are drawing from and applying to their lives, and it makes complete sense at the time. We've got Wally here. Wally, hi.
Hi, Barbara, my 3 favorite ladies. How are you tonight?
How are you, Wally?
Michele, it's nice to hear you. Barbara, it's nice to hear you, and I'm glad Deb is feeling better. I've been praying for her. Mother's a prayer warrior, so Deb's been on her prayer scroll.
Oh, that's great. Do you want us to look at your chart for any reason tonight?
Well, yeah, I'm going to be 60 years old in 2 days.
Oh, wow. You're a baby compared to me and Barbara.
Well,
Yes.
I look in the mirror and I don't see 60 years there.
Good, you shouldn't. We have the ability to live to 300 easily. And if we would just change society's state of consciousness, if we change our own, as each of us begins to change our own states of consciousness, eventually societies will change too. But that's the link that we have to be able to break, and depends on how strong you are independently.
Well, Michele, every day I read scripture with Mother, and we go into prayer time and meditation. And through the things I'm going through right now, that has just helped me so much. In all the scripture that we've been reading, and we followed Dr. David Jeremiah, and he's very good. In fact, he's produced a Bible. And it's very easy and legible. It's got a concordance in it. And everything I've read, I'm running into some things here before the end of the month, but everything has been saying it's going to be just fine. And, I don't have any knots in my stomach, any anxiety.
But Wally, when you're taking the time to read scripture, and I say this in a very broad way, because anyone who's listening, some people read A Course in Miracles, some people read the Bible, some people read the Quran, some people simply read the little notes that they see on Facebook. It really doesn't. I'm not going to say that one is better than the other, but I will say that the one that is for you is what's best for you.
Exactly.
But when we're doing it, what we're doing is we are opening our heart to faith and trust, and knowing that a higher power, a higher part of ourselves, the Creator itself, God, what name you want to give this magnificent force that adores us beyond anything we can begin to imagine, we open our heart to trust it and it will guide us. It will take care of us. It will protect us. So yes, it will be all right. No matter what it is, no matter what fire we have to walk through, it will be all right. It's going to be better than all right because you're divine, and divine is eternal. Your consciousness does not stop. So
that's funny you mentioned divine, because there's an affirmation that I read every day, and that is divine love is doing its perfect work in and through and for me now. I am surrounded by divine love, and I rest and relax in the love of God, and I am healed.
Beautiful. God, that's a beautiful, beautiful prayer.
That comes from Catherine Ponder. She's got the church out in California for many, many years, and when I usually send money out to the church out there. She does a good work. I mean, there's so many of them. In fact, I got them kind of pasted all around here. But you know, I enjoyed the reading that you did. I think it was back in February, late February. Or middle February, and you did my mother also.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
And she loved it, and I thought, well, my birthday's coming up in 2 days, and let's do one.
Okay, well, you have to give me the information again, because I don't store anything.
Okay.
So what is your birthday?
March 8th.
March 8th. Oh, it's just 2 days away. Okay, and what year?
The fire cop. 57.
57.
Yep,
okay, so yeah, that's the rooster. Yeah, that's the year of the rooster. Yeah. And the time of birth?
6:57 a.m.
6:57 a.m. And where were you born?
Muskegon, Michigan.
Oh, yeah, you spelled that for me last time. You'll have to spell it again.
Muskegon.
O-N. Okay, Muskegon, Michigan. Okay.
As the natives said, Muskegon.
Muskegon, okay.
You guys were probably going to come up on a hard break at 11, so if we do, just hang in there, Wally, and we'll finish up whatever we haven't finished up, okay?
I love hanging in with you guys, so no problem.
Okay,
let's see what's going on for your birthday coming up. Wow. You know, doing a solar return would have been a good thing to do, and we could have done that, but I didn't pull that up. I just pulled up the natal, and I don't know if you know what a solar return is, but
I don't.
When we're born.
Ooh. Sorry.
Okay. The day that you're born, the sun is at a particular degree. Okay, you were born with it at 17 degrees Pisces, 39 minutes. That's the exact degree that it was when you were born. So every year when it returns exactly to that degree, we call that your solar return. And when we do a solar return, we do it not for where you were born, but where you are living currently, or where you will be on the within the time of your solar return. And your solar return can happen on your birthday. It could happen the day before your birthday, the day after your birthday. It's usually within 24 hours, one way or the other. So what it does is it gives us a picture of how your upcoming year will be. Where will you focus during this year? Now we can look at the transits, which is what I do when I pull up the natal. When I'm talking to people here on the show, I just pull up your natal chart and I look to see what are the transits saying, and then I kind of pull out other stuff out of my brain. But it would have been fun to do that, and maybe if you want, after this break, if you're still on, we could probably pull that one up.
Oh, I'll be here, and if there's no other callers, that would be wonderful.
Yeah. But looking at this, let's see if I see anything. Couldn't even begin to remember what I said to you. I don't remember what I said to the person I talked to a few minutes ago. So, but what you have that's really exciting is Neptune is right on your ascendant. And Neptune can make you kind of sleepy on the ascendant, but it makes you highly intuitive, very psychic. I mean, if you were psychic before, and of course with all this stuff in Pisces that you were born with, you tend to be psychic. But to have Neptune in its own sign in Pisces, and on top of your applying, right now it's hitting a midpoint between Venus and your sun. So it's active in your chart and has been active for a while now and will continue to be active for a while more. And when I say a while, I mean another 3 years, not just tomorrow. But this period of time is certainly more spiritual, more intuitive, more psychic now more than ever. And what comes with that is creativity. So you may find yourself getting ideas for things that you hadn't considered before. And let's see. I don't think I don't remember looking. You have fire signs on all the houses that are work kinds of houses, the ways you make money, the way you're seen out in the world and the workplace. So when we look at the fire signs, usually that tells us that you're a person who tends to be outgoing. You could be with Sag at the midheaven. You could be someone who's a teacher or someone who's a traveler, or could even be a travel agent. I mean, you'd be someone even who drives a truck. I mean, all of those things are possible because it's about the ability to expand, go beyond your neighborhood, and at the same time, that could be an expansion of the mind as well as expansion through travel. So it covers a lot of territory. What is it that you've been doing for a living?
Well, I am a graphic artist, but
Okay,
when I went blind with cataracts, I kind of I do a little bit now and then. I did get my cataracts fixed, but I'm distributing a colloidal silver product. In fact, Barbara has gotten some of it, and she can tell you about it.
It's great.
Yeah,
It's
colloidal
absolutely
silver is
great.
awesome stuff. Yeah. Get it out there. That's a lot of people need to know about that. That's just an amazing product. Yeah, well, if you're not doing any digital stuff, you might want to look into that for graphics, because Sag also rules the internet and the ability to do things with computers. So if you haven't tried that, you might want to give that a shot, because your creativity is huge. And what you can do on computers is, I have a 24-inch screen and I do a lot of digital work. And I do it that way because I can blow it up. I can get right down to a pixel when I want to get something just perfect. So, which when I work on paper, I have 2 degrees in fine art. And when I work on paper, I have to get kind of close to the paper at times to be able to see what I'm doing. So I find that digital work is great. You might want to try that. Once you try it, you'll never go back.
Well, I do want to get a larger screen, but finances haven't been there. But I know they're going to pick up, and in fact, I want to get a big 50-inch screen because I don't have TV. I watch more on the computer. I haven't had a TV for 7 years.
Yeah. Well, that's the great thing today is you can hook your computer up to the TV, and you actually could do Photoshop on the TV. And if you've never, or you could do InDesign or Illustrator or whatever program you want to use, or the free programs that are out there. There's a lot of them. There's trying to think, it's got a funny name, but there are some free programs out there too that you can use that are just as good. It's just they come in modules and you have to put them all together. That's the difference. But you have the ability to take and draw on paper now and just scan it into your computer and then add all the rest of it.
I do that a lot too. I take business cards. I can draw moving pixels around. I can draw or vector points as my program is.
Right.
And reproduce business cards on trailers, and so
yeah, it's a lot you can do. Anyway, with Neptune there, and like I said, it's going to be there for another 3 years. You've got a lot. Your intuition, your creativity is bigger than ever. It's strong. So I hope you get what you need to keep going on that. Saturn's traveling through your 10th house. So, Saturn, you're working hard on whatever your career is. There's a statement there. I need to expand it. And you will. I don't see any problem with that. As it moves forward, it's right now making a trine to your Pluto and a trine to your progressed moon. And And so there is opportunity for you to transform your career at this time. There's an opportunity for you to maybe do something that might involve children or might involve young people in some way. There's a statement there. And I don't know if you do anything with children, but you might look into that. You could be doing something where you're teaching kids something, and it may be something in the creative process. But right now, your progressed moon at 21 of Leo, over the next 6 months, you're going to continue to have more desire to transform your workplace and the kind of work you do, and your health as well. All of this is very positive. Everybody should go take a look at wallylad.com. Go look. It's you got colloidal silver on there and a whole bunch of other things. It's awesome. Well, I've got your solar return up, and your solar return says that the sun returns at 8:18 p.m. on Tuesday night, tomorrow night, on March the 7th. So that's when the sun actually returns to the exact spot it was when you were born. But there's some lovely things here. When we look at your wheel for this coming year, the beginning of the year just kind of like opens up, but by the third month, you've got a whole doorway that opens for you, and it's what we call in astrology a grand trine action. It's a trine to Mars and an out of sign trine to the North Node. North Node is what is it I want to achieve this year. In the solar return, it's saying, I want my dreams to be dreams of health. I want to do something that will be good for health, for the world, for myself, for people that I care about. I want to create something that is stable. I want to do it through communication. I want to do it through making contact and one-on-one relationships. I want to make breakthroughs and create new beginnings for people in terms of health. That's just huge. And I mean, that grand trine says I have the ability to do that and make it happen this year. So that's a pretty powerful statement.
That is, Michelle. With this colloidal silver, we have infused it in the soap, in the lotion. In fact, one of the previous hosts here had gotten some poison ivy, and she tried a little bit of the lotion on the poison ivy, took the itching away, and is curing the poison ivy.
Yeah.
And Mother was telling me down in Florida she's got fire ants, and she rubbed some colloidal silver on her leg with the cotton ball, the liquid, and then put the lotion on, and it took the stinging away and healing them up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've seen all kinds of fabulous things with the colloidal silver. I have some friends in Arizona that are good clients of mine. I've known for, God, I don't know, 20 years, who they call theirs colloidal gold, and they actually infuse it with the vibration. What is that called? The suffragio vibration. So
they probably use gold also, because people are doing that.
Yeah.
In fact, we're working on pure silver water right now, and we've got it. And it's a proprietary process, so I can't talk about it.
Oh, that's okay. I wouldn't understand it anyway.
Michigan State, and in fact, I wanted to take some home with me the other day. And
in my guitar case.
Michael said we need this to send to the University of Wisconsin, the University of Michigan to get tested. So.
Oh, great. Well, that's very exciting. And that's part of what this solar return says for you. I mean, this doorway in 3 months' time just kind of opens up for you. And there is a big transformation. It's not without challenges. I mean, what year is without challenges?
Right.
Yeah, and this T-square that activates after that, which is the beginning of the fourth month, this T-square says that you're challenged in terms of probably space. You have to transform your home. You may need more space, and you may find yourself working on making those changes, and possibly with a partner of some kind. So that seems to be challenges of expansion more than anything, challenges of relationships through that expansion. So you want to be really pay attention to who you might partner with. If you ever need information that way, astrologically look to see how partners will work. I call it I call it relationship insurance. Because it is important if you're getting in a relationship with someone that is new to you to know exactly where you may have challenges, so you're both aware of them, because we pull people into our lives to learn things, and yes, we work together really well at some levels, and sometimes they will also rub us a certain way to help us work out something that we need to learn to work out. So
God is guiding my steps, and he's gotten me in touch with Michael Clark. In fact, I got another deal that's possibly going to happen, and he says, Michael told me in order to ensure no missed sales, we would private label for this new venture in your name. So
great.
And he's very spiritual. He teaches Bible study, and I trust him. And he's a good, honest man. So
that's great. Yeah, there's also a beautiful sextile coming off of this Pluto to your 6th house, to your sun, which is sitting in the 6th house in the solar return, and it makes a beautiful trine to your moon. So there's a statement here that in terms of the world, you're going to be working on nurturing the world, and the public will love you. This is just, when you have the moon in Cancer up near the midheaven with Cancer at the midheaven, it says your public image is such that people will love you. You'll be embraced by the public, and there is opportunity for success in terms of the workplace and also in terms of your health because of this. So this is really it has challenges in it, but is a nice chart. It has also a lot of success warranted in it. So I'm excited for you.
Thank you. The other thing with our products is there are no fillers in it.
Yeah, that's so important today.
It is. You are getting pure product with the emu oil, the macadamia nut oil, the java oil. These products are fabulous. And we have a facial bar, a bath bar, a shampoo bar, which I love it all.
Yeah, well, I'm going to talk to you offline about stuff because, I sell stuff, and we used to carry some great Himalayan salt soap
stuff. Wonderful.
And of course, I sell Himalayan salt. I have that's what I do on the side. That's what my retail business is. I have too many businesses. I'm an Aquarius. What can I tell you?
Michelle, we are going to talk. Talk.
Yeah.
I'd like to send you some samples of our products that you can try out, because I've sent it to Barbara, and she loves it. And there's many other hosts I sent samples to. And
it's terrific stuff.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back, Barbara.
Well, I had to call into my own show. That really makes one feel special.
Wondered where you were.
My computer dropped me, and then it decided it wanted to be a television instead of a computer, and I have to get magnifying glasses to be able to see the buttons to know which buttons to push.
Oh, no.
So, I'm back.
Well, it's good to hear your voice, and we love you. So we're glad you called in. I wouldn't know what to do if you didn't. Deb would have to do something. She'd have to do her magic.
Well, apparently her magic didn't work on my computer. So have you done his solar return?
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about, and it looks really good. The only thing is that he's going to probably hit a point where he's going to have the challenges of expansion, and so he has to take it a step at a time. But that's the big challenge that I see. The expansion seems to be saying, are you going to do it out of your house, or are you going to expand beyond your house? What are you going to do? And it's has to do with a partner, and you'll just have to see how you pull that off. But you certainly have a grand trine in here and a beautiful trine going to the midheaven. You're going to pull it off.
Michelle, I have a house that is just under 4,000 square feet, so I have plenty.
Wow. Sounds like you have plenty of space.
I have a red cedar house here on the south branch of the Pere Marquette River, and it's just me and my little Joey. Mother's down in Florida, but I do want to get her back here because she's 82, and she enjoys this house also. So got plenty of room.
Well, good. Sounds great. So it's just going to be a matter of you deciding how you're going to do what you're going to do.
Well, it's that, but it's also, I think, part of listening to what the universe wants him to do. Sometimes our own thoughts and plans tend to be so obviously perfect that we don't make room for what Spirit has coming for us.
I'm listening, Barbara. I'm listening to Spirit. God is guiding every one of my steps.
Very wise words, Barbara. Very wise.
Every time I decide I know what the universe wants from me, I get a 2x4 in the face eventually. So,
Yeah.
and after all these years, I still get the 2x4. So,
Don't feel bad, Barbara. I do too.
Sometimes it's like, of course, this is what the universe wants me to do. How could there possibly be any other alternative? And as soon as I say that to myself, I know on an intellectual level I am setting myself up to be blasted, but I do it anyhow. I think sooner or later I have to be right.
Well, we think we know everything, but he has something else in store for us. So.
Yeah, you have Uranus in the solar returns is at 22 degrees of Aries, so that's a statement of mastering change. So that's where this grand cross comes in, or this grand square, whatever you want to call it. Mastering change. You will work on that, and when we expand, you do have to. Everything grows. I know. I've had businesses for years. Eventually you have to create new labels and more whatever,
Yeah, I think also, Wally, something to remember, and it's from the Bible. It's a statement that I have lived my life by and reminded myself of often, that old phrase, and this too shall pass.
Yes.
Yeah. Astrologers say if we can just all you have to do is live through this transit. The problem is some of the transits take more than 7 years. So depends on the transit, huh?
Definitely not a pleasant thought.
No.
Well, thank you, Michele. That was wonderful to hear, and I know I'm on the right track.
You are definitely, and I wish you good blessings, Wally. We'll have to talk off the air.
Yeah, we will, because I do want to get your address so I can send you some samples. You got to try this soap and lotion. It's fantastic.
Well, I'll if you've got wholesale pricing, we'll be able to do some business. So.
Yes, I do.
Cool.
Unbelievable. Well, I am flying blind here, so I don't know if there are other callers or not. So, Deb.
I think there is, from what I can see on the screen, someone else has called in, but I don't know.
That may be me.
816 called in, so that's your next person.
Oh, yay. Okay. Hi, 816. You're on the air.
Good evening. How are you guys today?
Doing well. Can
Okay.
we have your name?
Mark?
Mark. Nice name.
Yeah.
All yours, Michele.
And what's your date of birth, Mark? What month and year and day?
2/11/59.
February 11th, 1959.
All these
59.
babies.
Yeah, babies compared to us.
Yeah.
And what time were you born, Mark?
I think evening, 8 o'clock or so, somewhere there.
Okay, we're just going to go by the seat of our pants on that one and hope that we get close. And where were you born?
Independence.
Independence, Missouri?
Correct.
Oh, well, very nice. Okay,
He's got good stuff here.
we'll see what it comes up. Oopsie doopsie. See what your and is there anything in particular that you want me to focus on, or just go for it?
Well, I'm going to see if I can figure out how to move south of here right now, but like southern Missouri and stuff, but that's about all I have right now.
Oh, you're looking to move? Well, yeah, that's probably not going to happen right away. You have Saturn traveling through your 4th house, and when we have Saturn in that house, we usually don't move till it moves out.
Okay.
and right now it's going to be about 2.5 years, and it'll move out. Sometimes people manage to move if it activates another one of your planets that gives you an opportunity. Let me just see if there's anything in there. It did have an opportunity, but that was a little while back. You didn't take that one. So let's see here. I'm not seeing anything else. Yeah, I don't see any other opportunity right off the bat. When it gets to, see, it'll already be in the next house. When it gets to 25 degrees of Capricorn, and of course it'll be in rulership, you're going to have an opportunity then for sure, if you haven't already moved by then. But whatever it is, that's if you're not in a relationship, it could be an opportunity for a relationship that's really stable. Can also be an opportunity for you to do something that gets public applause. So something that you invest in that could increase money or increase value. So that's also possible, and maybe that will be the place that you move to. But there's a big opportunity coming at 2.5 years from now. Is the time zone, and when it actually activates this progressed Venus will have moved a couple of degrees by then, so it's going to be probably closer to 2 3/4 or about 2 3/4 years from now. I try to give you this, but I can't be exact without going forward and actually looking at it all. But it's close.
Okay.
Let's see what else is going on. Yeah, there are some challenges there too. When it gets to 12 degrees. You've got Pluto right now getting ready to go into this 5th house of yours. It's not there yet. In another 1.5, 2 years, it'll be in there. It'll come back and forth across that line, and within 3 years, it will be in that house. And when we get Pluto going into our 5th house, the 5th house is a great house. I mean, it's the house of investments and children, and when we say children, we don't just mean biological beings, but anything that we create that can go out in the world and speak for us is considered a child, a spirit. So that can be a business, it can be a book, it can be a video, it can be anything that you create. It could be a little work of art. Whatever it is, it's communicating to the world without you. And so all your creative ventures are in this house, socializing's in this house. At any rate, everything you love, from people to things. And a lot of time when Pluto enters this house and then gets through it, which takes it a while, it'll take several years before it gets all the way through the house. As it goes through it, we transform the way that we do things. Our creativity, whatever it is that we love, tends to become more of what we make our living from. We change the way that we live. And for you, it may be that you'll decide at some point there to retire in some way and make your hobby your new form of income or your new form of work. So it's going to be interesting to see what you decide to do. You have Capricorn on that house cusp, and you were born with Saturn in Capricorn, which is the normal ruler. So it tells me that you're someone who loves the old things. You're someone who loves high quality things. You're someone who enjoys things that have to do with structure or stones or ancient things. And this can be a person who likes anything from, old buildings, more likely for you than necessarily just history. So or the historical reference points to things that are old structures. So you may be doing something that connects to that. Does that make sense to you?
Somewhat, yes.
So it's always fascinating. You never know what a person's really going to do, but by the time, I can guarantee this, by the time Pluto gets to the other side of this house and gets ready to go into your 6th, you will have changed tremendously, and it will be cool, because people are usually afraid of Pluto. It means transformation. Transformation means you have to let go of something in order to get to the next thing, and what people normally fear is letting go. It's kind of a death process when we have to let go of something before we realize that we're going to get something new. And so focus on what you're creating, because then you won't even notice that Pluto is the one who was involved. And that's what I recommend, because you will do this, and it will be a happy thing by the time it comes out the other side. So let's see what else is going on. You have right now, you have your moon progressed in Taurus, and it's right there with your Venus in Taurus, and this is very lovely. The moon moves very rapidly in its progressed state, so another 2 months, and it will be on top of on top of Venus, and then it will move on. And this is a statement that there is a tremendous love at this time. There could be a love of home, a love of ancestry, a love of craftsmanship, a love of things that are created by hand, or luxury items or special items. It could be even jewelry. It could be woodworking. There's a lot to that. And while the moon is there, there's a tremendous desire for these things. So you may find yourself considering all the possibilities. You were born with the Mars in Gemini, which means your energy can go in any direction. It's not necessarily focused the way your Saturn is focused. So that quincunx between your Mars and your Saturn says that you struggle sometimes with that. You want to focus, but part of you also wants to get a million things done. You can't do that. You gotta pick something and stick with it. But overall, with the moon there and Venus, you probably will. So, but that's your time frame, getting that. And you'll be in that zone for another 7 months. And then you will be on your way to what possibilities are out there. A whole different desire level. You'll find yourself wanting to socialize, connect, get out there, and do a lot of possibilities, talking to people, finding out more about ideas and possibilities. So it's exploring. But that'll be fun. We go through a lot of different cycles in life. Let's see.
I'm seeing here a lot of working on yourself, as though you realize that you need to shift and change the way you focus on your reality in order to draw new people into your life to facilitate the changes that you feel are coming. And as far as the move goes, it does feel as though I'm seeing something happening in July that has to do with your home, whether you make changes to it or whether you're, kind of reaching out to shift to another place. I mean, I would go with Michelle. I don't see an actual move, but I see focus in the July time frame on your home and your direction. And then as you come into August, there's a sense of birthing a new quality of yourself that shifts and changes everything and opens you up to the magic that you carry within. You're holding on to a structure within yourself that no longer nourishes your spirit. So that's one of the changes that I think Michelle sees.
Yeah, you also, Jupiter right now is traveling through your second house, and that's always great. Jupiter, think of it like Santa Claus. Second house is what do we value and where does our money and what are we spending our money on? And it's nice to have Santa Claus in the house of money. It usually brings you some good things every time it ticks or activates one of your planets. Unfortunately, well, right now it's retrograde, but when it turns around and goes back and hits that 25 degrees again, which it won't do until like September or so. But when it activates again, that's a period in time I'd say, lock up your credit cards, because with the quincunx action to your Venus and your Venus and even your moon, my God, you'll find yourself, that's when you go in and you say, oh yeah, I'm going to buy a new car, and then you get it with more stuff on it than you need. Okay. So I usually tell people, this is a period of time, just be careful with make yourself a list before you go shopping. Otherwise you'll buy more than you need. We overthink it with Jupiter there. We're very free at giving away money when Jupiter travels through this house. And so we always have a bigger picture. Jupiter makes everything look bigger. And it's fun. It's fun, but it can be expensive when you wake up the next morning.
So. I got to ask a question. Mark, are you the kind of person that functions better under pressure?
Yes. I need to be pushed a little bit sometimes.
Yeah,
I push a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, what I'm seeing is that I feel you're very aware of that, so that you may have the tendency to put yourself under financial pressure just to wake up and be able to draw upon that aspect of yourself that loves that challenge and brings out your creativity more than ever before.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, you were born with a certain amount of that pressure stuff in there, so that's for sure. Your moon, you have a moon in Aries, and it says, "I desire to get things done quickly, fast. I want to break through. I want to get out there. I want to do it." And then your Saturn says your Saturn is in rulership in Capricorn. It says, "Wait a minute, hold on. We got to get the foundation built before we can build the house." So there's, you can find yourself challenging yourself, your desire, especially when that's activated from another planet activating your moon. You find yourself where you really we got to get the bit out of your mouth because you're not steering. If you've ever ridden a horse where he's got the bit in his teeth, forget about it. You have no control. So you do have to be careful of that. Yeah, Jupiter is going to be on top of your Neptune coming up next year. Well, actually, probably late this year, very late this year, probably coming December of this year. And when it is, the doorways for intuition are just your ideas and what you value. All of that's going to just be opening up. You're going to have to look at it all, and it'll just come through we call it a download. It's like a psychic download will come through, and just the world just kind of opens up to you. And for you, that can have to do with relationships. It can also have to do with money. It can have to do with what you value, and it can have to do with home. So with your background, I'd say it's going to have to do, it's crazy, I'm going to say something crazy. It has to do with the buildings or even architecture. It may have to do, and it could be you're looking at property, and it could be the home, your own home that you're looking at where you're living even now. Because Saturn, you're coming to a Saturn return, and all the questions of Saturn come up. And this is, how you were taught as a child to go a step at a time, take your time, go a step at a time. And that wasn't always what you wanted to do. Your mother seemed to move a lot faster than you did, and you wanted to move as fast as your mother, but you couldn't do that. You weren't allowed to. And,
I'm trying to do something with the house. I'm just in an apartment right now. I've been about 2.5 years. I'm trying to get back into a house, and it's tough in this town. So, I think they just go quick here. 48, anything decent, 48 hours are gone.
Yeah.
So,
even where we live, it's like that. Yeah, here in this little town of Roseberry, there aren't that many houses to begin with. When you find a nice one, it's like if you aren't there when it opens, you've got an hour.
Yeah, and I don't know what to do about it anymore. It's sort of like just buy a piece of crap and fix it up, maybe, or something. I don't know.
You know what? If you wait till Jupiter gets on top of that Neptune, you will know. You will know where to go. You will know how to go, and you will be there. Once Jupiter's on that Neptune, Jupiter rules your real property, and Neptune is your intuition, and it's also a connection to your money. So that's going to be late this coming year. We're looking at probably, I don't have it in front of me, but if you go to any computer and put in when will Jupiter be at 6 degrees of Scorpio, it will come up for you, and you will have the parameters. Bring it back to 4 degrees and say between 4 and 6 degrees. And you'll have the time frame exactly. But I'm going to say it's going to be like December or something. Could be January.
Well, actually, he's got miracles in February. No, in January he's got miracles.
Well, then it wouldn't surprise me at all if it turns out to be January. I don't have that in front of me. I could try moving it forward and see if I see it. Hang on. One.
Now, you said when will Jupiter be in?
Between 4 degrees and 6 degrees of Scorpio.
Everybody's clicking here.
Yeah, see, in December it's already at 12 degrees of Scorpio, so it's even earlier than that. It must be November. Yeah, on November 6th, I have it at 5 degrees of Scorpio. So you'll be looking, and I would just tone it right to the minutes. I'd go right to the minutes because you're born, you've got your progressed is at 5:59 and your natal is at 6:57. So you come back 2 degrees, you could take it at 3:59, between 3:59 and 6:57. And that's a key time frame for you.
Just zero right in on it.
Yeah, that's what astrology does. It will zero right in. That's why, I mean, when I work with clients, for weddings, for my God, you should see me do a wedding chart. I give them 7 minutes to say I do. Some of them are lucky enough to get 7 minutes. Some get 3 minutes. Some get 15 minutes. You just don't know till you zero it in. But when you zero it in, that's the time. And if you want your marriage chart to be the best it can be, that's what you do. And sometimes it's really weird hours. You don't even know when it's going to be. So we got married. My husband and I got married at, I think it was 9:51 p.m. on a Friday night.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was 18 years ago.
Well, it seems to have lasted well.
I think it's going to last, yeah.
Well, was he into astrology too?
No. My husband didn't know anything about astrology. Zip. Didn't know anything about it.
Does he now?
Well, no, I mean, he knows that it works. And let me tell you, when he really found out it worked was, this is so many years ago. We weren't even married yet, and because I watched his chart, and I told him on that day, I said, look, you got to be really, really careful with metal. This is a day where you could easily have an accident. I want you to pay attention. I made a list, your car door, if you have to handle a knife, if you're around anything with metal, just think metal and be careful. He came back that night and he says to me, you forgot to tell me about weights. He had gone to the gym and dropped a weight on his foot.
Oh my gosh.
I said, I can't tell you everything. I do the best I can.
Yeah, but, wow. He was okay though, right?
Yeah, he was okay.
Okay, then it's funny.
Yeah, it is. Thank God. He didn't break his foot or anything, but he was bruised. He had a big black and blue, but he got through it. I have clients who pay me a lot of money to sit there and really delineate for them right down to the minute all kinds of things, and when they do and then they don't follow through, that's what gets me going.
Uh-huh.
And I had one client, she did it to me not once but twice. Once she did it where I told her, this is a time period, watch out for metal, and I mean knives, and this is around your house, please be careful. I mean, it looked serious to me, really bad. And it turned out to be really bad. She had to go to the hospital. She did not listen to me.
Wow.
And another time I told her, watch out for your jewelry. You could end up having jewelry stolen when you're going on a trip. Please be careful. And instead of locking her jewelry up in her house or taking it down to the safe deposit bank, put it in a safety deposit box, she took all her jewelry with her on an international flight and lost everything, over $100,000 worth of jewelry.
Oh my God.
I just stood there. I was just going, why do you come to me? Don't come to me. You're better off not even knowing.
Yeah, I would say so.
So, if you're going to use an astrologer, please pay attention to them. Otherwise, they're going to get their hair turned white on you. I mean, it's not nice.
Unbelievable.
This is kind of interesting. I mean, I'm trying to do something. My lease is up in June, and I was trying to pick up a house. It almost sounds like I should be holding off. But if I hold off, it'll be another year before I can do anything.
No, go for it. You still have all kinds of good things in this chart. Go for it. Go for whatever it is. If you feel driven to do something, don't let astrology stand in your way to go for it. You'll find out what the key elements are, and it may be that what you go for will not pan out till that time frame comes into play. But it will be what you felt you needed to go after. Sometimes going after whatever it is you see on the map will not pan out, or it may lead you to the next thing. Don't stop yourself there, but you do have a key time. So if you haven't found it before then, make sure you're looking during that time because you will find it.
Okay, so that's what I saw in July. So July would be, if I was looking at the houses, it would be the second house. What
That's
does,
money.
Okay.
That's money.
See, Cancer for me in this layout I did for him falls in the July time frame.
Well, what's really interesting is July. Right now, I told you Jupiter is retrograde and it's going backwards in his second house. Come July, it will go direct and it will come back it will have gone into the first and be on its way back into the second. It'll actually be on July the 6th, it will be sitting on the doorstep of the second house. So we'll be applying to it. So.
Okay, so.
And anytime you have Jupiter activate a point, okay, that's considered a point in astrology. That's that line that we call the door of the second house. When it activates that point in his chart, it also activates his north node, which is also a key point. But the statement is that then that is where it's like Santa Claus is coming in the front door. Pay attention.
Okay.
It could bring you a tremendous gift. And
now,
it will be activating his north node at the same time because his north node is sitting there, right there at 15 degrees, and his house cusp is 1456.
Okay.
So
now, Mark, understand that my layout is with cards and not it. You know, while it's close to what Michele has, it's not as absolute as hers, but your Cancer falls in the second house in my layout, which would be the July time frame, for whatever that means.
Go for it. You know, the north node, when we have Jupiter sit on top of the north node, there's a statement there that you will become truly aware of what's important, of what your mission is, where you're headed, what it is that you really want. You'll have a real clear picture at that point in time.
Looks good.
Yeah.
Okay, I got your website pulled up, and it says astrology, psychic, spiritual law, dreams. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's probably it. That's one of them. I've got several. Yes. Yeah, I have art on that site too, and there should be tabs there that say consultations, tapping, all kinds of stuff on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just hard to. I'm trying to plan it out. I'm a real planner.
Well, that's you know, you have a beautiful. You've got the mark of the guru in your chart. You have your Jupiter at 0 degrees of Sagittarius and your Saturn at 3 degrees of Capricorn. They are both in rulership, and that is the mark of the guru. When they're both in rulership, there's a statement there that says, I need to build something that is significant, that is of quality, that is going to last forever. And Jupiter says, but I have to do it where it will expand my possibilities, expand my mind, reach beyond my neighborhood, expand into a spiritual realm almost. You could even say that. So this would be like the person who builds the pyramids. It's like the perfect statement of the man who builds the pyramid.
Very cool.
It is. It is pretty cool.
Yeah, just have to know where to build them.
I want to throw something in here because this doesn't come astrologically, but I'm seeing geodesic domes here. Have you ever played with them?
I don't believe I have, no.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, like a round dome you'd live in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for having humanity, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah, it's not actually round. You know, the geodesic form is the strongest structure in the world. And that fits Jupiter and Sagittarius perfectly.
I would just look into them, you know, and see if something clicks for you. Because geodesic domes are really here.
Yeah, I know I like all brick houses.
That is so Capricorn. You couldn't have said anything. You couldn't have said anything more Capricorn than that. Stone. Yes. Yes, but you know, the base of it could be stone, and then you could have part of it with a geodesic top too.
Well, among other things, they are energy safe, and I mean, there's just Google them because there's such, especially today, there's so much more stuff out there that has to do with the geodesic domes. They can be quite spectacular, and you know what I like is they're made up of triangles.
Mm-hmm. That's what makes that structure so strong.
And if you lay enough triangles close enough to each other, you have a circle. I don't know what that means, but it's true. So
it's not actually a circle. It's a circle with little bits, little angles on it. But it's a circle. Yes, it's not as round as my chart in front of me.
No, it's not. But if you get them close enough together,
exactly.
It appears to be.
Exactly. Well, that's the chart. The chart is made of little pies. Every house is a pie, a piece of the pie, except that we made the edge round, and in a geodesic dome, the edge is straight on each piece of the pie.
Speaking of getting around, just because Barb's flying blind, I thought I'd let you know you got about 10 minutes left.
Thanks, Deb. You're the best. I never look at the clock.
I'm looking at it, but I had no idea where we were. So, yeah, no, there's definitely flying blind here. Even I tried my...
Just a strong structure.
Yeah.
Exactly.
My window's so short to get out of the apartment, really. It's kind of tricky right now. Either I stay in another year or get out.
The geodesic domes come in kits.
They do. And you could build a base out of stone. You could. And then build the rest of it out of the geodesic dome. But geodesic domes can be also insulated with foam. I mean, you can do foam with them and then cut out your windows.
I've seen a lot of them for greenhouses and stuff, too.
Mm-hmm. Actually, let's see. I didn't get how old he was. How old is he?
I'm not good at that. Born in 59, so he's a baby compared to us.
Okay. There was a TV series a long time ago called Northern Exposure.
Oh, yeah.
And in Northern Exposure, there was somebody who lived in a geodesic dome in Alaska.
Well, that's why. I mean, they build them here in Oregon and fly them up to Alaska. Uh-huh. They build them in Washington and fly them to Alaska. Because they're so strong, you can put them, they hang them from the bottom of a helicopter and fly them all the way to Alaska. It's pretty impressive. Yeah, it's pretty amazing what they do.
Well, and you can do them modularly too, so that you can, have, a circle of them or whatever. I mean, it's just, I don't know why, but it comes up here so much that I really have to push it a little bit because it does hit, as though it could be a trigger for something for you. Doesn't mean you have to live in one.
But you might want to.
Well, the way the storms are going, it kind of makes sense, sort of, almost.
Well, you can put them any place, and you can move them if you want to. So they're not like the little houses, that you can cart from place to place, but they are movable, and they're not like a yurt. So they have, solar panels that will heat it, and now in these times, it's not a bad thought.
No, there's life and mobility, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I don't get a kickback on them, so.
Darn, you forgot about that part.
Darn, yes. No, it's right here. It's in his cards. I just keep seeing the geodesic domes.
I'm totally with you. I am laughing. You're funny. Like either of us would get a kickback on anything. That's a riot.
Yeah, well, that would be cool, wouldn't it?
Well, God gives us a kickback, so we do get that.
Kind of just tell them Barbara sent you.
Who are they?
Yeah, you won't get anything off. You'll just get a strange look, but it might be fun. Or you could say a psychic on the radio told me to tell you Barbara sent me, and you just might get something off.
Remind me to tell you a funny story about that.
Okay.
It's funny what clients will do. So.
Absolutely. Well, Mark, thanks so much for calling.
Yeah, Mark, and let us know. Let us know if you do get a geodesic dome or what you do. Call us back. We'll be here.
Okay.
Yeah, Michele is here every Monday, the first Monday of every month. So feedback is appreciated.
Yeah,
First
really.
Monday.
Yeah.
First Monday. All right, I'll keep you posted.
All
Okay.
right. Take good care of yourself, Mark.
You too now.
One thing, I know we have just a few minutes, but one thing that you've written a book, and I want to get the book out there.
Oh, my book? Which one? My archetypes? That's a good one.
I was thinking the children's book.
Oh, that's my Grihi.
Yes.
My beautiful Grihi. Yeah, I have a book called Grihi, The Journey of Five, and you can pick it up on my website. You can email me, or you can go, I think Amazon still sells it.
Yep.
I don't have it in Kindle yet. One of these days I'm going to see if I can get it in Kindle, because it has pictures, and when I tried to put it in Kindle, it just never showed up right. So, but it's a great story, and in this time, boy, it's really the story of an adolescent dragon who becomes friends with the most odd character of all, a little fairy. And through their journey together, and he goes on this journey for all the wrong reasons, but through their journey together, he discovers things like friendship and cooperation, and most importantly, he learns to love who he is, which is what we all need to do. With all our little foibles, we need to learn to love ourselves, because we are truly valuable and intricately part of the tapestry that makes success for the world.
Terrific. Now you can talk about your archetype book.
Oh, yeah, and I also have a book on birthday archetypes, and that's also available. That one's available in Kindle format, too. I sell most of them to people in Japan, but I'm sure Americans would enjoy it. Don't ask me why. I have no idea. At any rate, yeah, it'll help you with numerology. It's really designed for anyone to help you understand where the state of consciousness is for the people around you, and why they might act in certain ways that you cannot figure out. And it allows you to then honor them and be compassionate towards them, because you'll understand their states of consciousness. And it's
theoretically.
It's easy for anyone to read. You could be 10 years old and you'd be able to read it and figure it out.
Well, we need a lot of books like that out there.
Yeah, we do. And I really should get mine out there more. I kind of just create things and then let God take care of it. And then people in Japan find them. So,
well, it's interesting. The different countries have different feelings to them as far as the consciousness of the people that are
absolutely. And
indigenous.
What's interesting too, I'm an Aquarius, and Japan is an Aquarian nation, so I have a contact point there.
I would say.
But Grihi has been published in Italy in an Italian version, and so there are people in Italy who've been reading my dragon book, and I don't know any of them. I have not gone over there to go meet them.
Well, I think what you're doing is appropriate, to just turn something loose, let it find its wings, and find where it belongs.
Yeah,
because I know
Go ahead.
No, when the cards were created, I told the publisher it's before its time, and that was 20 years ago. Yeah. And it did okay for 20 years, but as soon as they stopped publishing the deck, it became very, very popular. It was really cool. I got the copyright back on everything, and people, are looking for the deck, and it's very easy to find. It's still very available out there on the internet. But it was kind of like, I kind of wanted to write him a note and say, "See, I told you so." But it's just 20 years it was out there, and it didn't become popular until they stopped publishing, which I thought was fabulous.
Yeah, well, that's not, that's typical of psychics. We're always ahead of our time.
Thanks, Michele, for an amazing show. I really appreciate having you on with us every Monday, the first Monday of every month, and I look forward to next month.
Take care. I enjoyed every minute.
Me too. Thank you, Deb.
Thank you, Michele.
Thank you, Wally.
Thanks, Wally.